Everybody, I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. Jim, do you want to start with the good news or do you want to start with the bad news today?
Let's start with the bad news. Let's get it out of the way.
Right. Well, there's only one game left in the CFL season now, and that's going to be the Grey Cup next Sunday in BC, because the Winnipeg Blue Bombers won a defensive matchup 19-3, and the Edmonton Eskimos lost their game 40-23. So let's start with, let's start with the game out east. Are you surprised that the Winnipeg squad's going to the Grey Cup this year?
Well, they've been sort of up and down, kind of like the Eskimos all year, and I guess I was surprised. Of course, the Montreal wasn't vying for a spot in the Grey Cup, but it was a good game today. A lot of reliance on the ground game for Winnipeg today, and it paid off for them. And they looked okay. Battled the elements to get that win.
Cold.
And that was okay. That was not a bad game, but the day just took a turn for the worse. Jeff.
It really did. I mean, the BC Lions are going to the Grey Cup. They're going to be the ones playing against Winnipeg. But the score kind of in that Eskimo-BC game flatters the Eskimos, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Because they got their butts handed to them.
Did they ever?
BC looks good right now. As much as it pains me to say it, they obviously, you forget what a bad start to the season they had, but you talk about a turnaround for a team. Like, wow,
no kidding.
They end the regular season creaming Montreal, and then they come out and look dominant against the Eskimos. And Travis Lulay had a hell of a game on Sunday, and including a 61-yard run where he looked like I couldn't believe that. He looked like he was out for a stroll in the park, and he just he got some good blocks, but. Man, they looked. I don't know if it was that they looked really good or that the Edmonton Eskimos just came out and looked really flat, but or if maybe it was a combination of the two is a more reasonable answer. But the BC Lions looked good. The Edmonton Eskimos looked terrible.
Yeah, I got to go with the Edmonton Eskimos. Looked terrible on that one, Jim. Again, the O-line, which we've actually been dumping on most of the year, did pretty good in this game. Friends of the show, like Patrick Kabongo, did fantastic. Gord Hines as well. I'm only going to be able to mention that a few more times, considering it's the end of the season now. So I might as well take my opportunity. But Ricky Ray didn't seem to be in sync with his receivers. I think that was a lot to do with it. And it's tough when the other team scores 40 points, Jim.
Yeah, dropped passes, overthrow, underthrow. It seemed like nothing really went the way of the Eskimos on the day. And, late in the game, they kind of, they came to life a little bit. A couple of big catches for big gains. But they just didn't have enough left in the tank. And maybe some suspect play calling late on that kind of ended their chances. But it's tough to see your hometown team kind of go out with a whimper like that, and you got to wonder about Ricky Ray's future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Real quick, is there any chance that Winnipeg wins the Grey Cup here against the BC Lions?
I think it's gonna be a real surprise if the Blue Bombers come out and win, because BC looks very, very strong right now.
Yeah, agreed.
What do you think?
No, yeah, totally, I agree. I think I don't think.
Isn't it hard to say that though?
No, it is. It really is. Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind Winnipeg, and so but I don't like BC. I just straight up don't like BC, and so this is gonna be tough. But I don't see any way BC doesn't win the Grey Cup. Let's move on to hockey here. The Edmonton Oilers won the second part of the Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader game in style with a 9-2 drubbing of the visiting Blackhawks from Chicago, Jim, on Saturday night. There was a lot of things that impressed me on that, but what impressed you the most about that game?
5 assists for the Nuge. 5 assists.
Yeah.
That's just phenomenal output for him, and he's really taking control of the offense of the Edmonton Oilers when he's got the puck, and it just, I think that, that really shows that, what kind of a playmaking forward he is, because he can score. We know he can score, but I mean, he's playing phenomenal right now. But putting up 9 goals against Chicago. I mean, Chicago's no slouch. Yeah. It's not like we're talking about Columbus or something. But to put up 9 goals against a team like Chicago is fantastic. Especially, I'm pretty sure Chicago put up 10 on us not too long ago. That's right. So that was nice. A little bit of redemption. I was hoping for 10. They almost got 10. You could tell it looked like they were really pushing for that 10th goal in the final minute there. But that's nice because they've gone through their first kind of real drought of the season with going 2-4 on the road trip, and then I think losing 4 of 5. So it was, and some of those losses were a bit painful, and they didn't look great. So to come back and rebound like that is a good sign for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on a little bit. The Lucic hit on Ryan Miller was on the agenda at the GM meetings. Jim, what was the consensus on that one?
Well, they went around the room, I guess. I heard this on TSN. They went around the room, and most of the GMs thought he should have been suspended. I don't. I know a lot of people do, but to hear that from the GMs, yeah, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, me too. The only thing I've got here is that the rule book really does say that goaltenders are untouchable. Like, they changed the rules that they're completely untouchable, and combine that with the new headshot rules and stuff like that. Myself, I think there's got to be more onus on the goaltenders to protect themselves, because damn, he just put himself right out there. Yeah. But that's. But
I mean, to bring headshots into it, I know that he did get a concussion and all that, but there was no. I mean, if a guy skates past with his arms at his sides and you get hit in the head, I don't know.
The fact that all the GMs did say that it probably should have been a suspension, isn't that a big strike against the old commander-in-chief of the Department of Player Safety?
To me, that was my first thought. And they had him out there saying, they had Brendan Shanahan out there saying, we got to protect the goalies, we got to protect. Well, that's not a new rule. No. And all the GMs coming out and saying, yeah, he should have been suspended. Maybe strike one?
Yeah, maybe strike one. Maybe strike one. Big news this week in the NHL that a troubled franchise was finally sold. Oh, it's about time, Jim. I've been waiting. That's fantastic. Wait, it wasn't the Phoenix Coyotes?
Nope. BC businessman Tom Gagliardi, I hope I'm saying that right, bought the Dallas Stars.
Oh, the Dallas
Stars. They've been having it's been a long, drawn-out thing with them, but they finally got a bit of stability, I guess, and I don't know. Apparently, they're going to really try and win back the fans who haven't been buying tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're averaging, but I saw the other day it was about 10,000 was at a game, but they've had some really low numbers this year.
Yeah, 10 but
I guess
high.
That's good to see one of those loose ends tied up, but the Phoenix Coyotes are still the elephant in the room or whatever.
They absolutely are. The other big,
I think that's one that we might see some developments on though in the next before the end of this year, because I've heard a few times the league saying we're not going to be the owners of the Phoenix Coyotes this time next year.
Oh yeah.
So I think nice to see. Get ready for another long drawn out Phoenix Coyotes ordeal.
Exactly. The other big news in hockey this week was that the Quebec police, lightened up and decided not to charge Zdeno Chara for his hit on Max Pacioretty. Captain Obvious couldn't be reached for comment.
Yeah, that's too bad. I was hoping we'd get him on the line.
That's right.
At work that came across as an urgent.
Oh, jeez.
And I clicked on it, and it said he won't be charged. And I thought.
No.
Okay, thanks for that.
Thanks for making that an urgent.
Moving right along.
Speaking of moving right along, let's talk a little baseball, where Major League Baseball is apparently putting the NBA to shame when it comes to labor issues. Reports say they've got a verbal agreement on a new CBA already. What's going on there, Jim?
Yeah, doesn't even expire for another month or so.
Wow, look at that. I didn't know you were allowed to do that.
Yeah, you got one league looking like they're going to shut down for a season, and the other one's ahead of the game. Yeah, that's good for baseball because, they what would we do without 162 games a season?
Part of the deal involves adding 2 more wild card teams in the playoff races, meaning 10 teams make the playoffs. Is that good for a league that has 30 teams, Jim?
Yeah, the purists, I think, will say no, but the realists like myself say absolutely, because I don't see the point of letting in so few. Like, there's probably teams in the major leagues that have never made the playoffs and maybe never will.
That's right.
And the point of supporting a team is to win a championship with that team at some point. So it's good that a couple, and that also increases the chances that maybe we'll see the Blue Jays in the postseason again one fine day. But you gotta. I'd even push for more, but I'd kind of like them to shorten the season a bit and add teams but I think that's a positive move for the MLB for sure.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays, we'll go into our first good of the week in the GABBYs. These are the good and bad by you. The first good this week goes to the Toronto Blue Jays, Jim, who are bringing back an old-style Jays uniform. Now, if only they could play like they did when they used to wear those uniforms, sir.
Yeah, those are sharp, though. Did you see them? They're beauty.
I like them. I don't like them as much as you like them, but I understand where you're coming from, and I like them, but not as much.
I never liked those black ones.
Oh, okay.
With the other logo. I just think it's a nice nod to back when they were good.
Ah, yes.
Speaking of good, let's give a good to Duke basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah.
He picked up career win number 903 this past week. It's only a half good though, Jeff, because I don't know how you get Krzyzew from Krzyew. I get the ski.
Yeah.
I get the ski. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I've been saying in my head Krzyzewski for like 5 years.
It's hard to change.
Only to learn that it's Krzyzewski.
I like it. Absolutely. Also, playing or coaching Duke, it's not as hard to pick up 900 career wins. But hey, whatever. Yeah. We're going to give a good to Canadian striker Christine Sinclair. She's headed to the United Soccer League Hall of Fame, which is fantastic. The 28-year-old played 4 seasons in the W League, and she's been the Canadian Women's Player of the Year for 6 years running, and rightfully so. She's one of the best women's soccer players in the world, much less just for Canada. Good for her. You get a great big 15 minutes of fame, pat on the back.
That's right, which is just below the United Soccer League Hall of Fame.
Just below.
It's just below.
Yes.
But that's great. It's always fun to see a Canadian athlete being among the best in the world at anything. And especially, something that's not obscure like soccer. On the bad side of things, Columbia University banned the school marching band from playing at the last football game of the year. Why, Jeff? Because they altered the words to the school's fight song. They love their fight songs down there. They made it say, "Why do we even try? We always lose." So that was fierce enough to get them banned from playing at the final game. Like they made a big deal out of it, like saying the school community was hurt by this and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, which is brutal. I mean, good for them, but like that's
you're offended by that.
Team is.
No wonder your school sucks at football.
Exactly. How about a bad to Ontario's newest minor pro baseball team, the London Rippers, Jim?
Yeah.
The logo is a nefarious-looking man in a black top hat and cloak. The mascot's name is Jack, but some people say it's not a reference to Jack the Ripper, the legendary serial killer from the 1880s. Come on now.
Yeah, the team says, I don't know how you'd make that.
I don't know what you're talking about. What? I don't know.
Yeah, his name is Jack, and we're called the Rippers. Like we're just trying to be edgy, he said. Just trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what the weekly theme nights are at that ballpark.
Yeah, I hear you.
Finally, a bad to Victoria's Secret.
Who we should never give bads to.
Yeah, it's really tough to give a bad to them, but they committed a jersey foul of sorts recently. Of shorts, not quite shorts. Yeah. It's in their line of NCAA T-shirts. They put out a Michigan State Spartan shirt that also sports the name of the University of Michigan fight song. I guess they don't have Wikipedia over there at the Victoria's Secret offices, probably because all they do is get into pillow fights and things of that nature.
That's exactly what I think they're doing in my
Less
head.
pillow fights, more Wikipedia researching.
That's actually a lot like what our story meetings are like for 15 Minutes of Fame. Kind of the same thing.
yeah, kind of.
Kind of. We're gonna move
It's a lot of
on.
Victoria's Secret models with concussions from pillow fights. You know, now that people actually see concussions as a real injury,
Right.
it's really like when you see people falling on the runway.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's exactly right. We're going to move on to the punchline. This time around, we're picking on the Nashville Predators rookie Craig Smith, who made the plays of the week for all of the wrong reasons. Like every single one of those wrong reasons you can pick, he was on all of them. He had a great start to his NHL career, 14 points his first 18 games. But Jim, he probably should have had 15. He was alone on an empty net and completely missed the puck and put the puck out of play. Like, he was this close to the net, put it up over the boards.
And he really, he reefed it straight up in the air. And, somewhere Patrick Steffen is saying, welcome to my life, partner.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And, I know Patrick Steffen was mad about this because it just meant that his highlight was showed
over
every
and over
night,
again,
over and over and over and over again. Poor guy.
Well,
but you just see Craig Smith on the bench, just head down.
Hanging his head. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Listen, folks, that's our 15 Minutes of Fame up for this week. Join us again next week when we get a whole new 15 Minutes of Fame. In the meantime, I'm, as always, Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm the sometimes Jim Kerr.
Have a good week, folks. All right.